Hey everyone. I just wanted to come through today and talk about something that I think that we all have caught ourselves doing before. And it's a program where we give our power away. A program that a lot of us have within us, and it's to please other people. And one example of this is say somebody calls you on the phone and like maybe it was a possibility that you guys were going to hang out or something, and that person knows that they have something going on and they're not going to be able to. So when they go to tell you that they have plans, they'll go into this huge detailed explanation about what their plans are and everything else. It's almost like becoming defensive it's completely unnecessary, because you're worried that that person won't see that as a acceptable excuse not to hang out with them or not to see them. For example, they call you and then you go on to this elaborate, like you could have just put it in 2 words. You could have said, not 2 words, but a couple sentences. You could have just said, yes, I have this event and this thing, these responsibilities I have to take care of tonight. Probably not a good time for us to work, to hang out, and leave it at that. And then the other person can be like, oh, okay, no problem. But a lot of people who struggle with wanting to be perceived in a certain way, or they walk on eggshells for other people because they want to be liked and accepted, or they don't want to deal with the repercussions maybe of what that other person will say to them, or maybe they'll be upset because they didn't want to hang out. Well, that's their own personal problem to deal with, because nobody owns you. Nobody owns you. If somebody is manipulating you to the point where you feel like you have to go into deep explanation as to why you can't hang out with them, or it could be another scenario, but that's the one we're using as an example right now. If you have to go into deep explanation to try to avoid the repercussions of somebody not liking the fact that you aren't hanging out with them, then that you maybe want to question being around somebody who has those negative attachments on them so heavily, or have an adult conversation with them about it. And if they can't have an adult conversation with you about it, then they have a lot of things inside of them that they need to purge in order to move past that, because they're not even conscious of the fact that they're being controlling or manipulative. So every time you feel like you have to go in this long explanation to somebody as to why you can't hang out with them, or why you're going to make this decision or why you're going to make that decision, stop yourself. You don't owe anyone an explanation as to why you do the things that you do. You give your power away to somebody when you do that. They're controlling and manipulating you in a way. Be very careful with that. And a lot of people pleasers get caught up in this because they don't want to rock the boat. They want to be the mediator. They don't want any confrontation whatsoever. So when they talk to people, they tell them what they want to hear. They tell them exactly what they want to hear instead of being their authentic selves, expressing themselves in a way that is authentic to who they really are, instead of telling everybody whatever is going to be pleasing so they don't have to deal with it. Or a lot of people don't want to deal with other people, so they're just going to word it in the exact way that they think that person wants to hear it, deliver the message, and then move on because they don't want to deal with people. But that's still inauthentic. That's still a program. So if you want to take your power back, when you have conversations with people and you go in this elaborate story where the details don't really matter, all that matters is that they know that you can't hang out tonight. You don't even owe them for them to know what plans you have. You don't owe your parents that. You don't owe anyone that. Unless you're under 18, I guess you could owe your parents that so they know that you're safe. But if you're an adult, you don't owe anybody an explanation. Maybe if you're married to somebody, you owe them maybe, I really still don't think you owe them anything, but a lot of people are programmed to the point where you will at least have to tell your wife or your husband where you are. Yeah, I just think that is the issue with marriage in general, it's a control thing. It's very easy to get in a space where one or the other or both are trying to control each other. Like, you have to do things in this way. Like it's not easy to get to a space in a relationship where you've signed this contract and you've had children, you have these things that keep you glued. I mean, how many people do you know that if they never signed a contract to be married to the person and you never had kids with them, would you still be with that person? Would you still be with them? If it weren't for what everyone thinks, if you were to be out of it, would you still be with this individual? Really think deep about that. I think a lot of people wouldn't be in the situations that they're in if they didn't have these things holding them, sucking them in, not to leave. Because we have programs in our minds that say, if you have kids, you have to stay. Or you sign this piece of paper and that means till death do you part. You said these vows. These programs in our culture and in our society hold us back from who we really are. They hold us back from really experiencing love on this amazing level, because we're stuck in these relationships or these situations or even friendships or whatever. Any relationship with anyone in your life can hold you back, because people can manipulate you and you don't even realize it. And it's these little things, like I was speaking about in the beginning, where you're walking on eggshells, or you're explaining things in a certain way, or you feel like you owe people an explanation so you don't have to deal with shit because you don't want to deal with the way they're... No. These are all programs that we have to purge if we want to be our authentic selves, if we really want to figure out who we are, if we really want to ascend in our spiritual journeys. So pay attention. Pay attention to the way you respond to people. Pay attention to the way people speak to you, especially people who are in your life on a daily basis or a consistent basis. Family members, your significant other, good friends. Make sure you're being treated right. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who carry an energy that will benefit you, that will raise you up instead of bring you down. When people have those type of manipulative programs, all that negative energy they're carrying with it attaches to you. It will attach to you if you participate in it. That's why they say you are who your friends are. What energy you surround yourself with is what you take on. That's why you find a lot of people on their spiritual journey have to go within and have some solitude, because they really got to figure it out and they can't do it with all the distractions around them. But yeah, just take your power back. Take your power back and try to be more conscious of the way you're speaking to others and the way others are speaking to you. And ask yourself questions about your relationships with people in your life. Ask yourself questions. But I wanted to make this a quick video, so I will be back on soon with some more little nuggets to share. Have an awesome day, guys.